Welcome, everyone, back to another episode of War Infinite Panels. We're ending at 2017 and got some a little bit early news of 2018. Co-host Jules Chan.
Hello everybody, it's me Jules Chan again. Welcome to 2018. We made it, guys. We made it through 2017. It's over. And we also managed to get up to issue 8. Like, wow.
Yeah, we essentially finished, I want to say, our first miniseries.
Seriously, we were able to put out more stuff than Rob Liefeld in a year.
In a year, Lowe's. True. Oh man. I don't know. I think he's too busy licensing his work out to other people. Like I think his Youngblood series and Bloodstrike is written by other people. So at least
or we're able to put out more work than Frank Miller during All-Star Batman and Robin.
Oh geez, those were dark times. And as you guys know, I'm a huge Frank Miller fan. I do love his Daredevil run to death and year like top tier comics. And Martha Washington, just like I appreciate him as a man, as an artist, as a person, totally different thing. I can understand. Yeah. So anyway, that's a little topic for another time.
But yeah, we made it to issue 8.
Yeah, we totally did, and it was a really rough year getting podcasts and all. We really want to thank all our listeners and people who read and listen to us on A Out of Haven website, or listen to Jules Chan's uploads to YouTube. We really appreciate you guys, and
I'm kind of surprised that I haven't been torn apart yet, for any number of reasons.
True. I guess the one thing that's probably tearing you apart is the Marvel cancellations. I mean, it has been a lot. Yeah. So She-Hulk joins as of today, just January 3rd, January 4th, 2018. That was yesterday, man. I'm in the past. She-Hulk joins the list of books being canceled by Marvel, joining Unbelievable Gwenpool, joining Generation X, joining Hawkeye, and the list keeps getting bigger. There's a lot of Marvel canceling books happening.
I mean, I get it. It hurts, but I get it. I mean, as we've said in the past, the comic industry isn't really looking too good right now at least in terms of comic sales, and one of the biggest problems with Marvel right now is the overproduction of comics. Like, they're all good ideas, they're really good, but we need to kind of focus it all and try not to break the budget.
Right, and there's also the cannibalization of sales. Like, in certain books, why is there 2 Captain America books? That's just, I mean, they're both ongoing series, so they just cannibalize each other. They should have just been called Captain America, and each issue just split off between Sam Wilson and Rogers. I personally think it was a bad idea.
And also, even with the X-Men books, the Spider-Man books, it's
God, yeah. Oh, X-Men has it hardcore. We have so many X-Men teams. I am really surprised that half of them didn't get canceled. I'm a huge X-Men guy. Like, holy crap.
But it's kind of like what happened with the New 52 when there were multiple Batman books.
Yeah.
It's like, you didn't need Dark Knight. I mean, you could theoretically live without Detective Comics. Theoretically. Batman and Robin by Peter J. Tomasi was still good, but you could chop it off, you can't always bank on Batman all the time, even though that's what they did.
Yeah.
And here with DC, here with Marvel, it's like they wanted us to see every iota of the X-Men, Spider-Man, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, even.
Yeah, even Doctor Strange, I buy it.
It's a bit too much, and I can just imagine the Marvel accountants just tearing their hair out at this point.
True, and the thing is, like, because of this, was probably a lot of people believe, and it has some ring to it. One of the reasons why Alex Alonso was stepped down as editor-in-chief, and we got C.B. Belusky as the current editor-in-chief of Marvel. And one of the good things that Belusky's done, I mean, at least he was honest and told why the books were canceled, what happened, etc., etc. Has brought on a new series. Under his first new series coming up, he's bringing back the Exiles, and this is a very different Exile we all expect.
And, Exiles is from what I've read. I mean, it's been a while, but Exiles was a pretty good series.
Yeah,
It was like Sliders, but with superheroes.
pretty much, and it was very out of continuity. It didn't require much homework. I loved it because it was a very different take of time travel and what X Men comic could be. My only regret about it is that after Judd Winnick left the book and they decided to give the book to Chris Claremont, it was not a good book for me. Nothing against Chris Claremont. You are the X Men godfather. Done so many cool stuff. This was not definitely up your alley.
This was a bit too high concept. It's like mutants, sure, mutants going through multiple dimensions. It's like, this is a bit too much.
True. But the new Exiles have particularly one thing you guys should also be hyped for as the has Camilla Khan on the team. She's not mutant, but she looks super cool and aged. She's like old, like old woman Camilla Khan, old woman Khan as I call it.
Oh my gosh, something just came up in my mind. It's like instead old woman Kamala Khan or old woman Miss Marvel. It's like
Old woman Khan. You gotta make it rhyme like old man Logan.
old woman Khan. There you go. It's like she's gonna be in the future fighting dinosaur, or fighting in a post-apocalyptic future against a deranged Hulk.
The sad part is I would
Perfect.
love to see her survive. I'm the only thing is the creative team on the book is Saladin Ahmed. He is the guy who wrote the Black Bolt series for the Inhumans, and how to put this? He's had a pretty successful run in the book. I heard people talk about it. I have been burnt from reading because as much as I try to be open-minded about it, it just didn't really click to me. But I did hear good things about Black Bolt and his run, so I definitely want to give it a try. Like I said, I'm deeply excited about the Exiles run just because X Men's coming back and whatnot. Blink is back. It's just it has a whole as far as this was one of the weirder X Men books like Generation X used to be, and I think that's kind of cool. I think we need more weird out there teams for Marvel to have it be distinct, you know?
Yeah, even if we're gonna have to say goodbye to a lot of really good books. Like I was enjoying She-Hulk. I was
Yeah,
enjoying
it
Gwenpool.
was a very different She-Hulk, and I enjoyed it for what it was. My only complaint about that She-Hulk run was how to put this. It was the most I have read She-Hulk my like entire adult life. I think Jules knows how much I love My Lady in Green, how much I love. Man, this was a very dark. Rico Tamaki did a great job of showing She-Hulk as this dark personality, person to his emotional struggle. It was a very nice take, but my God, it was so heavy. You know, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like prepare for a little bit of a. It's a little heavy in places. Although I would read this over, Iron Fist, Living Weapon. That was too
Yeah.
much. That was way
Oh
too
yeah.
much.
True.
But yeah, and also if anyone has been following some of the creators, Marvel creators at over at on their social media, my heart goes out to them. It's like a lot of them were really sad when their stuff was canceled, but
Oh yeah.
it's not like anyone's getting laid off. It's just that their projects are being canceled.
True. And it doesn't mean that some books cancel. Maybe just relaunch them with a number one later on, or they're putting them in different projects. It's not like they again, guys. The books have been canceled. There hasn't been news that these writers and creators got fired from Marvel. So they're probably still in the wheelhouse, probably giving them new ideas, thinking of something to give us. Because I think even though all new, all different Marvel 2.0 somewhat flooding the market with new books, I think that people believe that these books have a chance. It's just too much, and the new Marvel team wants to downsize that and try to pick the best of the best of books and give us what we like, what we all like about.
Or perhaps just stay with a single line for each one. It's like only one Spider-Man book, only one Doctor Strange book, only maybe two X-Men books, maybe.
The sad part is, as much as I little would hurt that, I can live with that. I can live with like two, even though that's crazy talk, crazy.
Yeah, well, considering the usual pattern with X-Men books and it's kind of a turnoff for a lot of people, it was a turnoff for me for a long time. Too many dang X-Men books. Too.
I think the problem with the X Men books being too many is that there's too many X Men teams, and you don't know what X Men team. I think they should just be well, maybe 2 to 3, and then if there's other X-Men books, make them either solo books or put those side characters in other team books.
It's like if you were to put out a roster of the X-Men, even just for the current days, just for current, it's gonna be a long list, and it's kind of hard to keep track of everyone. But yeah, I mean, if it's a cost-saving measure, if it'll help streamline the line, okay, it's fine. I mean, it could have been worse. I mean, we've had worser reasons for our comic doing that, for our comic being canceled.
True. I mean, well, I think the best one was pissing off your boss. I think, and that happened several times in this industry. You just pissed off your boss, get out of here.
Or it could have been, like low sales or whatever, or some scandal broke out and they had to change writers, and then it turned out not to be as good, and then it gets canceled. So,
True.
I mean, considering how many times Marvel has renumbered their line, it's like we shouldn't be surprised at this point.
No, and I think I personally, as someone who reads Marvel, I'm not a fan of Legacy because I don't like why the books are renumbered. I find it silly. I do like the logo. I think the logo sounds cool, but I don't think it's cool that they renumbered the books.
Yeah, that was annoying for a long time. But well, in other news that probably won't that won't be as depressing. Just because the comics are gonna go through a major shift, that doesn't mean we can't enjoy the movies and TV. What's new? What other series is out right now, or will be out?
I think one of the biggest news that happened, I just heard recently, is that Warner Brothers, through the many changes of Justice League, even though Justice League at the end of the day became a commercial success, but not a commercial success in the first 2 weekends, meaning they had to struggle to get there. Now they have a new executive to see over them, and this guy is going to be replacing John Berg and Jeff Johns. It'll be Walter Hamada. Walter Hamada, he's famous for seeing pretty much oversaw the production of movies such as It and The Conjuring for Warner Brothers, and he worked at New Line Cinema.
And in terms of his other works, there's also the Final Destination movies. He's produced the Into the Storm, a whole bunch of stuff, or Annabelle. And if you guys can notice the pattern of his work, it's very scary stuff.
Right, which is kind of funny because I think Jules and I joke about this a couple of times in this podcast that DC has an edgelord problem. Like, okay,
DC has an edgelord problem.
Like, it's been confirmed now. Like, we had Zack Snyder, who was like emo edgelord, and now we have Walter Hamada, who's scary edgelord. I think it's too much. I'm nothing against him. I think his production style must be very, very good. I mean, that's why they're putting him to be in charge of the movies.
But at least with Hamada, he has. I'm gonna say this now. He has talent.
He has a legacy under him.
Whereas Zack Snyder, like, yeah, he's had things, but he's had a few things under his belt before. It's like 300. It's like he hasn't always been a bad director. It's just gosh darn it, Zack Snyder, you have not aged well.
That's the way to put it, yeah.
Whereas with Hamada, I mean, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't seen it. I saw one preview. I also saw one spoiler of the Georgie scene, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, it's a bit much for me. I'm very sure it's good. I hear a lot of people liking it, but I can still say Hamada has talent. He
True.
Still does.
Right. I think that, like I said, production style get in there. And guys, if you guys may have thought that Jeff Johns and John Berg were ahead of the DC films, actually, they were placed in charge mid this year after the Batman v Superman movie, which was a rough patch. I don't care what anyone says. That was pretty much, people are going to talk about Batman v Superman. This is not how you make a blockbuster. This is not how you do it.
How many bombs over the years? But then again, it wasn't really Jeff Johns. Well, I guess he kind of deserves some of the blame, but it was mostly Zach. I mean, then again,
No,
Jeff
no,
let Zach do whatever he
John's in John
wants.
Berg, mostly John's who plays after this movie, not during it was after. So
Eh.
so it's like my opinion, Batman v Superman. Regardless if you feel about this movie, like people space studying films, and this is not how you make a blockbuster. This is one of those. This is not how you do it.
I mean, we thought we were in the clear with Wonder Woman, but then, oh, criminies. Dang it, Zach.
Exactly.
Why? And it's like Zach's work was so much of a bomb that it even affect Jeff Johns. It's like, oh man. Then
True.
there's another reason to hate Zack Snyder. There's another reason why I keep making Zack Snyder jokes in all my videos now. Another reason. You
Right.
cost Jeff Johns his job.
True. And the thing is, to be fair, at least Jeff Johns, as a professional, handled it. He laid a message for Hamada saying that it's been great working with you. You're gonna be excited with the Shazam movie that's in production. Looking forward to it. So Jeff Johns seems to be banking a lot of things on the Shazam movie that's coming out. That'll be coming out in the future. So I still have faith in Hamada. I think that with Jeff Johns kind of passing the torch to him, I think Hamada will not mess this up because Jeff Johns, it seems like he put a lot of work into Shazam, and I mean a lot, just from that message alone.
Yeah, Vish, I have confidence. Definitely more confidence in someone with talent, and also if Jeff Johns is being positive about it, like okay, might as well.
Might as
Like
well.
if
And
And
speaking of,
also, just so long as they don't like Hamada doesn't change it at the last minute that the wizard Shazam is like I don't know some sort of you ever get those
no,
series where
the
they
Wizard of
change
Shazam is a space demon that eats children's souls. Boom, horror movie.
it's yeah it's like don't be one of those directors that turns like something fantasy and mystical and stuff into oh gosh this is dealing with demons whatever. It's like, so long as he doesn't do that. It's like when you change Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was very lighthearted, now it's going to be, oh, wow, I don't know how to feel about this now. It's dealing with more horror based magic. Like, okay.
Wasn't that Sabrina's Afterlife in the Archie comics? I mean, that run was pretty cool. I don't think they ever finished that either. Sabrina's Chilling Adventures. I think
Think
that's what
so,
they're trying to
yeah.
base it on.
Yeah. But, so long as you don't, so long as the Wizard Shazam isn't some sort of space demon that tries to eat children, it's like, so long as it's not that, and he doesn't have a clown face. I'm very sure Hamada won't do anything.
True. And
won't do anything at all.
speaking of famous people who are passing the torch, Christian Bale has recently expressed interest that he wants to be in a Star Wars movie. Christian Bale. I mean, regardless of how you feel about him, the memes and jokes, he is a talented actor and a phenomenal voice actor.
And also, he's kind of easy on the eyes. It's like, okay. It's just, not bad.
I
If he wants
personally
to, then.
will be very excited if Disney, Lucasfilms, and Disney get on this. But I wonder, like I said, he's Christian Bale, so his price was like 30 million a picture or something, you know?
And I could just hear DC on the other side just screaming, "Oh my gosh, they're trying to convert each and every one of us one at a time. This is part of their master plan to consume all of nerd culture now."
Part of me feel like is that I welcome my new overlords, my new rounded mouse overlord.
But yeah, having Christian Bale would be a wonderful idea to to have over in
Like
the dark side.
even if he's a Jedi, a villain, or so, it would be great because, like I said, I don't think he's done much recently. I think he's in a Western movie recently, and that's it. But
That's what I've
again,
heard.
yeah, and I personally think that honestly, I mean, yes, his difficulties happened. That was the past. I think we got over it. I think he's professional. I think he could totally do it. I think this is something that's right up his alley. And
I would so love him to be a Sith. That would be great.
oh my God, yes, he. Oh wait, what if he was young? If they do a prequel, he's young Snoke. That would be so cool.
Well, cut me in half.
Cut me in
For those of you who've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
half. Yeah,
that was awesome but funny.
true. Oh man. And speaking of things that are not funny, Jodie Foster, famous actor, has recently expressed that, and it's something I want to quote her. Superhero blockbusters are ruining moviegoing. And she's discussing this from an artistic point of view. And I find this argument very folly, and it makes me angry because it insults the fact that superheroes, movies, and comics aren't art. For years, comics and movies have been trying really hard to enter the mainstream light, and here we are, and here you are crapping on us.
We went like, come on, Reddy. We went from like really crappy Thor and Hulk movies, like really really crappy. Like if you were to Google Thor movies from the 80s, like you'd be amazed about how far we've come. Oh wait, was it 70s or the 80s that Thor movie came out? Like you know what I'm talking about, the one with the fur pelt.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like we went from that to Chris Hemsworth. I'm just gonna say that, just Chris Hemsworth, and it's it's Jodie Foster is just one of those. I'm just gonna say it now. One of those idiots. I'm saying yes. I said idiots
Hmm.
who think like who still hold the mentality of like things like comic books or anime or even cartoons that they can't be sophisticated, that they can't be, that they're a lesser medium in some
Right.
cases.
And then this year, I mean, last year, we had a movie called Logan, which dealt with a man who had a legitimate emotional breakdown saying, I didn't want this to happen. I never wanted to be a hero. It's like, that's what Wolverine is. And that made me cry because I've been reading Wolverine my whole life, and that's the character he is. He didn't ask to be experimental. He didn't ask to animate plus. He was forced to be a hero of something he never wanted. Isn't that deep and complex for you? A man living a life for others who can't be happy for himself?
And also, I wonder, like, I wonder if Jodie Foster has ever even noticed the buying. It's like when you see buying habits, it's like obviously this is entertaining people, and like you work in the entertainment industry. Isn't your priority to entertain people?
I think the
It's
problem
like,
is that she's arguing more artistic sense. Like, what is one of her complaints that it's ruined the viewing habits of the American population and ultimately the rest of the world. I don't want to make $200 million movie about movies. She also stated that it's me is that Hollywood studios are making bad content in order to appeal to masses and make money. She's saying that these studios are making movies that appeal to common people instead of being artistic. And it's like you're saying that superhero movies aren't. Again, you're arguing that superhero movies aren't artistic. And then, like I said, Logan came out.
okay, unless your movies can spawn a phrase like "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all," you have no right to talk about art, lady.
Exactly, and I feel
That
like
phrase in on itself is art.
exactly. I feel like
And then make
it's
and
a very narrow way of looking at it. And do I agree that superhero movies are mainstream? Yes. Do I agree that there is a somewhat formulaic way to do it? Yes. But in the same thing, in entertaining people and still people are analyzing, looking at it. There are people who go see, who saw the Avengers Ultron movie and like it wasn't that great. No, we know we saw it wasn't that great.
but we found it entertaining still. And also, here's
Yes,
the thing: if Pixar's, it's like
Incredibles.
Incredibles, Up, the Wreck-It Ralph, Zootopia, these can be emotionally heart-wrenching and even thought-provoking, and yet these are things that are aimed at kids. Deadpool was rated R, but it wasn't regarded as like some sort of deep philosophical message. The reason why it got its R rating is because they say the word fuck and have lots of sex and other naughty boo boo words. That was the only reason why. Just because your movie is R rated doesn't mean it's, or just because it's catered to adults doesn't mean it's sophisticated. But then again, Deadpool was still a commercial darling.
Exactly. And I think the problem is that I think like she has this opinion. Some of the actors like Reese Witherspoon and Spielberg has his opinion that, in my opinion, yes, comic books are in now. If you are so mad at it, then think of something statistic that valid people want to see over this. Go ahead. I'm not saying you can't do it. Prove everyone wrong that the movies you can make or the content you can make is what movies should be and make it better. Make it have more viewers, be a commercial success. And then you can judge. Otherwise, you're being a jerk. And I'm sorry, you're being a jerk.
And it's like, I get it. It's like, oh, it's like nobody's paying attention to our non-geek related stuff. It's like, well, produce something that we're gonna be hyped to see. Then we'll talk. But right now, everybody's we're kind of liking the nerd related stuff. I mean, try to name a worthwhile movie that came out that wasn't nerd related, and that even includes Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or yeah, basically not much. But then again, I don't go to movies unless it is something nerd related. So my view is a little
Well,
bit
that's true.
skewed.
I mostly see animated movies and nerd movies. I see some comedies in between. I see a little bit of everything, but it's like I feel like as a moviegoer, um, there hasn't been as a mainstream consumer. Yes, comic movies are important. They consume a lot, and I think that's good. But at the same time, is that also shows that how to put this. Not only the masses want this, that they're maintaining quality of it going forward. If these movies are as bad as you say they are, they wouldn't bust. I mean, no one would see it after Avengers 1. No one would continue watching, waiting for this Infinity War arc. No, the entire African American community and many black people in the world would not be excited for Black Panther.
And
That means something
also,
to people.
yeah, and even if you were to say like, oh, it's something about quality and artistic vision, it's like I get it. Not every movie is gonna hit home. It's like we're looking at you, DC. But that's what happens when when you put a new genre into your a new genre into your medium. It's like I'm guessing just again, she's just one of those people that hold those very old school kind of ways of a very very outdated way of thinking. It's like, honey, we're gonna have you sit down and watch Inside Out, and you tell me just because it's catered to kids that it's not sophisticated.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that's the problem. Is like this artistic way that they're trying to hold like artistic or moral high ground that exists. And I'm not saying that your valid point. It's not saying it's invalid. At the same time, is you're holding a high ground while insulting the people below you, as well as not really understanding why these movies resonate with people. People want to see heroes. People want to see good stories, good versus evil. People want to see that. What's wrong with that?
it's like she just views it as like junk food, and that okay, if you're gonna, honey,
Exactly.
don't knock it till you try it. Don't knock it till you try it. And as hard it is to believe, people like Jodie Foster still exist. There are people who don't see it. Who don't see the value in it. That don't think that superheroes can be sophisticated, or even animation can be sophisticated. And yeah, sometimes we can get overly obsessive, but what's the harm in just letting you know, animated films or superhero films, dominate the market. It's not a problem.
No,
And
it's not. I think,
we're
and in retrospect, it's kind of due time since let's be for real about this. Comic books animation has been around for a long, long time. These stories have already been written. It's just no one's given them a chance before, and now people giving them a chance. Look what happened. People want to see this. People want to see more Daredevil, more Netflix. People want to see more Luke Cage. People want to see Iron Man. People want to see these characters. People want to see Ant Man. Ant Man, Guardians of the Galaxy. Like these stories are already written years ago, and no one gave them time except for people who have been fans and cherished in their whole life. And now we see them on the screen. That means something.
and also again, come on, unless you can produce something that isn't geek related, that isn't gonna bore us, then we'll talk.
Right.
It's like
Like for example,
Hollywood,
what's face?
Hollywood being creatively bankrupt for a long time.
Right.
So them drawing upon a vast well of ideas is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of dwelling too much on this. It's like it's Jodie Foster is just one out of many ignoramuses that are out there that, for better or for worse, they're always gonna think that. But for
It's also kind of sad because again, it's like my example. You haven't seen Logan. That's like pretty much proving a comic book movie can be more than just about heroes.
that it can make you cry. It's like
Yeah.
heck, even with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it's like when you make me cry for Yondu, that then your argument is invalid, lady. When you
Exactly.
make me cry for Yondu, of
Right,
all
and
people.
that's just the sad part is like, to be honest with you, like, but her and other people like Steven Spielberg have the same idea. Steven Spielberg, you know what Steven Spielberg's doing right now? He's making Jurassic World 2. You're gonna complain about, which is a sequel to the movie, so you're making fun of the combo movie sequels on each other and you're doing the same thing. Come on, doesn't that sound hypocritical? Doesn't that sound hypocritical?
And also, it's like our own way. If you're gonna try to plead that Jurassic World wasn't, or Jurassic Park in general isn't a goofy concept, a very nerdy, goofy concept, yeah, that's whole new levels of hypocritical, lady.
Like you're just like way above me. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. But
But yeah,
we kind of killed this horse so bad that we can't
we
even
can't.
talk about what we're looking forward to in 20.
I don't even think we can even recognize it as a horse at this point, since we've beat it up so much.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we're gonna have to actually put ourselves in jail.
Yeah, well, time to seek Young Justice. Oh, speaking of which,
Yeah,
yeah,
speaking of
Young
which,
Justice will be getting a new series. I think it's only exclusive to Netflix at this point.
yeah, I believe so, and it will be sometime later 2018. So late 2018, season 3 Young Justice will finally happen. Finally.
And also, it's the same art direction. I think it's still Greg. Yeah, it's still Greg Weisman. Let's just hope, he avoids the Greg Weisman curse,
Oh,
where your
jeez.
series only lasts until season 2. And this has happened before. He worked on Gargoyles. When he was on it, it only lasts till season 2. Same thing happened with Witch. Once he went on for season 2, that bombed, like, even though the season was really good. But it just got canceled. Oh, wait, no, it didn't bomb. It just got canceled. Then there was Young Justice, same thing. It's like whenever he touches a series, somehow I think he was on Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, same thing. I think he was. Yeah, same
Mm.
thing. Season 2, everything he touched, even if it's good, it bombs somehow. It gets canceled. It's not a bad series. He's a really good writer. He's a really good guy. Oh, I think he was even on Amazing Spider. Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, he's a fantastic writer, but it's the Wiseman curse that stopped, so I think it's going to stop this time.
Hopefully. I mean, if Netflix doesn't work, then oh dang,
Yeah,
there's no stopping it. But I hope
stopping
it
this
still
curse.
stays.
And the sad
I
part is,
mean,
the curse isn't that his show's bad. His shows are fantastic. They die.
it's yeah, it's I don't understand. It's like, how does this happen? Is it because of toy sales? Well, that's what killed Young Justice at first.
I think I think what happens is because most of the shows they work on, the network were already thinking about canning it, but then he's fired up all cylinders and he gives us the best you can get. You know?
And still, Gargoyles is remembered to this day as Disney's solution to Batman. Which
That's
it
true.
didn't work, but you still remember it. Ah, Xanatos. Ah, Puck. And Goliath's almost just manly voice. And of course, the writing. It's like it's just I loved the Children of Oberon storyline, and that was great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, let's hope that Greg Weisman can still.
I think my favorite episode of Gargoyles is when he was about to kill the guy, ponytail guy in his own tower because he realized he betrayed him. I was like, yo, this is a kid show. This gets super dark.
Yeah, and gargoyles.
Gargoyles,
Oh,
great show.
or when Goliath battled Odin.
Oh
That
yeah.
was cool.
And
But
speaking of cool things, we're gonna give you some cool recommendations for 2017. That series that you looked in the past that you might want to pick up now. My recommendations are Miss Marvel by G. Wilson, Alfonso, David Tamaki, so many writers. I recommend. Okay, series to link over with I think 7 or 8 trades. It started in like 20. It's one of the best series Marvel has. Perfect example of a new hero, new identity. It definitely what Marvel now, what the new Marvel looks like, and I definitely recommend people checking it out. Kamala Khan is an amazing character. Her growth from the beginning all the way to the end, or at least the end right now is.
It's like she deserves a movie or a TV series at this point, man.
It's
I
probably
mean,
gonna happen sometime soon.
Captain Marvel's getting a movie soon, so eventually. Oh my gosh, they should really have her do at least a little bit of a cameo. Like, come on, just at least at the end, do it. Like, so,
Yes,
like,
the cameo will
like,
be her scarf.
or Carol at the very least meets some nice little girl, and she looks a lot like Kamala. It's like, and then at the end, she says her name. It's like, at least that. Come on. I mean, it's fan pandering, but come on.
Mm.
But yeah, Kamala, the G. Willow Wilson has had a really good run on this, like ever since 2013, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around there. She had a book for like to this point, like I want to say maybe 5 years, 5+ years.
And I mean, isn't this also on the chopping block too? Sadly.
No, I think the book ended.
Oh, the book ended. Okay, at least it wasn't on the chopping block. It ended, but I would have to say, congratulations, G. Willow Wilson. This is fresh. This is really fresh work that we really needed. It's new superhero origin and uprising from a perspective that we're not used to. It's being handled by a writer who understands being a Muslim woman in America. The art style was also different.
Yeah, it was Alfonso from the Runaway series, and you had David Namalaki.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
And also her going from some kid from was Jersey, right? It was Jersey?
Yeah, New Jersey.
From New Jersey, just growing up as a Muslim girl without, the terrorist, flavoring. It's like let's not talk about that. And it was good. It was refreshing. It was really refreshing. It's like this is a point in time in America where we're just getting over, all of the Islamophobic hate. Like it's still there. But we're trying to get over it. And this is a story, as a Muslim girl growing up in Jersey, becoming a superhero, and trying to find her own identity, and also still being a dork, and still mentioning her fan fiction to other superheroes. It's like that's got to be doubly weird. It's weird enough when you're a comic writer and your fans mention their fan fiction to you. So when you're a superhero, how weird you can only imagine how awkward that is whenever your fan talks about their slash fiction to you.
The only point of weird is like, wow, I inspire a generation of psychos. That's the way she's probably looking at it.
When she met Spider-Man, she mentioned her fan fiction of him, and I think it was Black Cat. It's like, wow, kid, I love you.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if she was booted out of the Avengers, it's like I mean, not everyone's superhero career is gonna be as smooth, but she's still as plucky as ever. It's like even though her time in the Avengers was short, I still loved it, and it's. I just have to say thank you, G. Willow Wilson. Even though it's over, it's still a fond memory. Please come back.
Like I said, I don't think it's ending. Maybe they'll relaunch this. I have hope because it will be a terrible thing.
And, with the whole renumbering thing, it's like, come on, please. G. Willow, maybe just another year, please. Just another year, please.
Sure.
I mean, Jeff Johns was able to do Green Lantern for how long?
That's different. He's Jeff Johns. He's ascended.
Well, like maybe G. Willow Wilson can, become the next. Oh yeah, what am I kidding? But
I'm literally picturing that. It's like, no, we will not have a Guardians movie. We will have a Champions movie.
But yeah, Jeff Johns was able to stay on for who knows how long. Even though the whole Relic arc and the first, the Third Army arc was not to my liking, but it's like he stuck it for that long.
True.
But yeah, Julia Wilson, thank you. This series. I even gave this out as like I even gave my trades out as Christmas gifts because it was that good. I'm still waiting on feedback from my friends, but they were actually excited because they heard a lot of nice things about this series, and also because I won't stop shutting up about it.
Well, yep.
So, what is your
The
next
next series I
recommendation?
recommend, which is also about young kids trying to find out what they are, is Deadly Class by Rick Remender and Wes Craig. This series has currently 6 trades out. It is phenomenal, artistically, storyline. Kids who are assassins in late 1980s, dealing with their issues, growing up. It's really cool. It's really awesome. Definitely recommend it.
And something about kid assassins or kid assassin hero-ish thing that isn't kick-ass.
Oh, I think it's kind of slightly more realistic than Kick-Ass in a way. That and the thing with Kick-Ass, if you read the comic, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal and
I
pretty.
know. It's just it's so brutal that it's kind of hard to enjoy sometimes.
Yeah, that's it. It's also kind of it's also brutal and depressing. And how about it? The simplicity and action Kick story if Kick-Ass sells. But if you try to sit there and analyze it, you go, eh. Well, Deadly Class is different. Deadly Class is like you read it, you enjoy it, and it's like, wow, this is cool. I can't wait for the next one. It's like, come on, hit me, hit me. Cool stuff happens. Another book I'm going to recommend is also about gets more kick-ass over time. Well, not kick-ass, it's over, but it saddens my heart. Is Silver Surfer, the Marvel run done by Dan Slott and the All Red. It saddens me because they wrote a complete story, they ended it, and I kind of want to see the cosmic. I want to see Toomey again. I want to see the cosmic rider of the skies. It was a very different take of Silver Surfer. It wasn't depressing. It wasn't him like, oh no, my life is terrible. I'm gonna be human, learn about life. No, I'm essentially Doctor Who of space, and it was a really great run. I recommend people check it out.
It's like at first I thought, wow, this is going to be about the Silver Surfer. It's like I normally don't see that much emotion out of him. The only time I've ever seen him riled up was during the Infinity War, and that was it. But yeah, it was interesting, really. It's and kind of fun. But I guess a lot of people that's I don't hear that as much hype for it. At least not on my end. I don't know. Maybe I'm just living that much under a rock.
No, it's how about this? It's Allred. If you read any type of Allred books or books that Allred did, you already know what he is. He's more of a Silver Age kind of guy. He's this very, very, very somewhat old school way of telling story. Well, somewhat old school way of describing telling stories. Even though Dan Slott wrote it, they both co-created, worked together on it, and it was how about this? If you are a fan of Allred and you know of it, you already know. Like I'm a fan of Allred's. I'm in the know. Hell, I'm even reading Bug right now because if you're not, well, even so, you should totally check it out. And Dan Slott's on. He's a good writer. I think that it as a book, it didn't. And I'm pretty explaining this. I don't think it really escaped the bubble of people who already know of it. Like that's why I'm recommending it for people now. Like if you never heard of it, definitely check it out. It's definitely something I think people will like. And
Uh
yeah,
oh
and
so, oh sorry.
I was gonna say, and the final book I recommend, which is the current king of comics, Tom King, well, for Image Gerard, Sheriff of Babylon. Rumor has it that's going to be they're going to continue the story later on in the future, but it's a book about uh, in Iraqi about a murder that happens in Iraq, and a U.S. I would say contractor cop tries to figure out what happened, and it gets real political. It's really awesome, and it kind of feels you know how G. Wilson is respectful of Muslim culture, and in a
Mhm.
very American sense, being educational. This is the same way. It's respectful and understanding why these people did what they did, and why like this guy is trying to be a terrorist or use the situation, and why this woman wants to be head of a political party in Iraq. It's really cool. It's a really nice murder put. It's been nice military murder mystery. That's what I call it. And the arts were fantastic. Mr. Rods.
Well, now it's time for my 2017 recommendations. I know, guys, I haven't done that many. I've actually haven't done any comic reviews this year. It's only because the Comic Corner is kind of going going through a lot of changes this year, and also my computer died this year, so
Yeah.
so I will be getting new I will be getting onto it. I swear. I'll get back to doing more comic reviews and not just doing this wonderful podcast with this wonderful man. But yeah, but that doesn't mean I haven't read anything. So for my recommendations for 2017, it'll be Superman number 19 and 20, by Patrick Gleason and Peter J. Tomasi. As I've said before, the Peter J. Tomasi is wonderful. I liked his Batman and Robin series probably a little bit, somewhat more than the main Batman book. But for this one, Superman. Wait, no, it's Superman number 18 and 19. Superman number 18 and 19. Where I've mentioned this before in previous reviews that there was this other Clark Kent, and we don't know who he is. But here, we figure out who he is, and it is a fun old time when Clark is visited by a very old friend. And it gets, without spoiling it, it's just that much of a trickster of a time. And when reality gets bent, it just gets that fun. And the stakes are high. And it's like with the current Superman series, you get really invested in Lois and Clark and their and their son John. And all of that is at stake in just 2 issues. And not only that, it not only raises the stakes, and it's not only fun, but also kind of streamlines DC continuity all in one go. And this is not an event. This is just a small 2-issue arc. And it's mind-blowing near the end. That's all I have to say. It's like, it does so much, but in just 2 issues. It's fun, answers questions, while at the same time raising more questions, but, giving answers, which lead to new questions, but still. It amazes me how they're able to jam-pack all of this in just 2 issues. Like, Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, you should have just made this event, man. You should have just made this an event.
The sad part is I literally picture them saying this to DDO all the time, to the editor, and they.
How do you retcon an entire universe's continuity in just 2 issues without it being in an event, man?
Talent. And Tomasi and Gleason's been doing this for years. I mean, since they worked together, Batman and Robin. I think that they're one of these low-key best teams. And it's really surprising the lack of books they actually have in their arsenal at DC right now.
I mean, sure, Mike Gray and, Gleason's artwork, it's great when it's not inked like hell. It's like, it's trying to be colorful, but at the same time, okay, who's doing the inking? It's like Superman does not need this all of this all over himself, and it's like you're having an imaginative fun time. Like, really, it's like the artwork here is trying to be imaginative, but I can't enjoy it fully because it feels like the edgelordiness is trying to seep into this book where it shouldn't. But that's a minor complaint with just the artwork, and I've said this before, but it's still good. It's just, it makes it scary in places where it shouldn't be. But, Superman number 18 and 19. And my next recommendation, I gotta remember, what did I write down? Gwenpool. Okay, if you think that Deadpool is like the mass narrator, the self-aware narrator of his story, Gwenpool is probably like a very self-aware reader. It's like, she knows she's a comic book character, and she's not only aware of the narration, she's aware of we're basically, and nobody believes her. Nobody believes that, what she knows. I mean, obviously nobody would, and that just makes it even all the more crazy. And again, like with Matt, I am sad that Gwenpool is getting canned. I'm sad that we're not going to see more of it.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's just that nice meta feeling. But yeah, I get it. It's overdone, and there are too many Deadpool books, and we got to think about the current state of Marvel. Even though she's interacting with everybody from Miles Morales to female Thor to dang it, and they had 2 issues, with the new Ghost Rider. It's like, come on, this is fun. It's like, but fine, cost-saving measure, go whatever. It just whatever. And it's very sad because Christopher Hastings and the others, it's like, they're really good writers. They're really good, and this is fun. And also Howard the Duck. I forgot to add that. Howard the Duck.
Good old Howard.
But 26 issues, not a bad run. The art's great too. Like, it's like how. It's like, man, am I gonna be able to get through this? It's like just accepting losses. It's like, I get it. It's a new year. We got to cut some losses. It's like, how do I cope with this? It's
cope with it the same way I'm coping with it. You pray that they'll come back again. I think that Marvel's management is well aware of the success of some of these books, and they just know better. I think I'm just hoping for the best. I'm honestly hoping for the best.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm very sure they're not going to junk all these good ideas. Maybe we'll see them in bits and pieces as they streamline the universe. We won't see them as often, but chances are we'll be seeing, we'll be seeing Gwenpool somewhere down the line. Maybe in a cameo in the main Deadpool book. I don't know, but oh gosh, putting her in the same book as Deadpool. That'll be like touching two metal detectors at each other, and then the whole universe explodes.
That'd be pretty funny. Or better yet, they put her on a team book. I mean, that seems like the best way to cover characters. Who knows? Maybe she'll be in Exiles.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's
and
true.
Then the universe explodes. And let's see, what else? What is my last recommendation? I guess might as well. I mean, this. So I'm very sure a lot of you have noticed that I have been loving Boom Studios lately, and Boom Studios has been doing very well recently as a new publishing company, and obviously one of its bigger titles right now is the Power Ranger series. And one thing that I'm surprised hasn't gotten a lot of advertisement is its crossover with the Justice League, Power Rangers and Justice League. So DC decided that it was a good idea to team up with Boom Studios, a new company, and do a crossover with Justice League and the Power Rangers. Whenever someone tries to champion that comic books are super serious and fun is for babies, I just pull out this. 2 companies decided that this was a good idea, and it really turned out as a good idea. The most unbelievable, wonderful, goofiest thing I have ever seen in a comic book. And I've seen the American Kaiju fighting the Avengers in a Megazord. I've seen that. This, it's not only outrageous, but it's also a good crossover book. They meet each other. They think the other is a bad guy or something. They quickly come to the conclusion that, maybe we shouldn't be fighting these guys, and it shows, the best of what both teams have to offer. I mean, sure, it's like the Power Rangers are teenagers and the Justice League are full-grown adults with experience, and at one point it's like the League has to carry them a little bit to the finish line, but it's still good. It's like It's not like with a lot of team books where one side looks very pathetic in comparison, but it's more like it's what I wish more team books were, where you get to see the best in both teams, where both of them contribute to saving the day. And yes, you get to have the wonderful image of of the Justice League fighting the Megazord. No, fighting the Zords. If they fought the Megazord, then okay. It's one of those moments where you got to accept that as much as we like to champion that, yes, we can be very sophisticated as geek culture as we can, but other times we can have very stupid ideas and they are still gold. It's like, I promise you, geek culture and comic books, they can be sophisticated, but every now and again we love enjoying our junk food. And I will freely admit that this is the dumbest yet the greatest idea that 2017 has had in a while. And I'm very sure Matt is just sitting right there and just being embarrassed right now of me just gushing over this stupid thing.
I've been in facepalm mode for the last 5 minutes.
But it's just so dumb, and I love it. It's not like Batman v Superman levels of dumb, where it's just people punching each other.
And Batman using a gun because, gun.
Because, oh, that is so edgy and cool, and like, see, Batman is super serious. We're not all. It's like, this movie is still crap. Or, with most of the New 52, where everybody hates each other.
Thank God, I hope that comes to New 52.
Where everybody hates each other. Like, seriously, the one thing of the New 52 is that everybody hates each other and nobody trusts each other. And it was so sickening. It's like, and getting rid of like a lot of the costume designs because they were too kiddie. It's like, really? Guys, Batman is wearing a bat suit. He's literally called Batman. It's like, if you can't admit that the things that you love are silly, then you are in the wrong house.
Pretty much. Anyway, guys.
But yeah, enough of my gushing. It's like, thanks for joining us for, the roundup. It's like, we were looking forward to a whole bunch of stuff in 2018. Young Justice, Infinity War, what else?
Dan Didio learning to break dance. That's my hope.
Eventually he must break. I mean,
yes.
it's like, I'm not issuing a death threat or anything, but, Dan, if you want to turn in, if it's too much for you, you can turn in,
Yeah.
Maybe it's too much for you, turn over hands. It's like, and Lee, you've done a good job, but maybe you should just go back to being an artist, It's fine. Maybe just let Jeff Johns be in charge.
Oh man, Jeff Johns already chief creative officer. I mean, he's above, but I think
Let's just make Jeff Johns head of DC now.
I feel like, honestly, I don't know how much management power Jeff Johns has as quote unquote president and chief creative officer right there. I mean, I know he's responsible for like the relaunch of Rebirth, etc., but part of me feels like I think for everyone who's in the DC wheel, who like DC, we all have this huge trust of Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns reshaped DC in the 2000s. Him, Grant Morrison, etc., Warren Ellis, and I feel like we just trust him the most when he's on stage. So we trust him a lot, and if there's a way to like make him like, I don't know, PR or something that says that Jeff Johns stamp of approval, we all trust you. That would be cool. I don't know what is it, but if DC could figure that out, that'd be great. And nothing against Dan Didio, he's a Silver Age guy. Nothing against Jim Lee. I just feel like
he was better as an artist. That's it.
And you can put that in quotation marks. Art.
It's like, even as a designer, it's like, Lee, you were good when people were giving you designs, not when you were making them. I'm sorry. It's like, okay, fine. All the Jim Lee fans are like gonna say I'm hating him. Like, no, you see the designs that he made for the New 52. They sucked. They were bad.
The sad part is, I think he was Superman Doomed. It took him like over a year and a half to finish 9 issues. That was crazy.
I know. It's like I gave up on that instant. It was just tedious. But yeah, there's a lot to hope for 2018. I think, 2017 was, it was something. It was challenging. It was a challenging year, a very challenging year. but not without, with some success here and there, with some progress. And, maybe and 2018, I would have to say, is a year of possibility, for growth,
Yep.
for hopefully, that's what we're hoping, maybe progress, focusing, you know, getting our stuff together. It's, then we're going to look back at this in a year and then, oh my gosh, how did we make it worse? I'm totally not jinxing it right now.
Well, I'm personally hopeful 2018. I think it'll be a good year for comics and for and comic movies. It'll be a great year, and I'm super excited about. I just want to see more new books be made. I just want to see more creators in the industry, and I think we're getting there. I think we're at a good pace, and I have total faith in that. Anyway, guys, that's for the War Opinion Panels. Thanks again for supporting and following us, and be sure to give us a like and follow on social media. And we'll see you guys next time. Later.
Yep, and just let's hope for another eight more episodes, 8 more issues of this, and eventually we won't be doing a renumbering anytime soon like Marvel. It's like we won't have any sort of
Rebirth.
yeah, well, if we had a rebirth, then it would be good. If we had a renumbering, then that's just going to be tedious.
Yeah, let's skip to War of the Panels 999. Once we hit 1,000, we did it. We did it.
Eh, yeah. Well, enjoy a happy New Year, everybody, and I hope none of you got into any mischief.
Later.
Later.